Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Tim Hortons with a drive-thru. This is the amount of space required to make your build. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Step 1, if you have made the grid, come all the way to the front right hand corner of it and count backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then left 1, 2, 3, 4. Begin by placing 9 spruce planks on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then place 13 upside down spruce stairs going left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Place a spruce plank on the end and join it all the way down to the ground, like this. Then, behind the block on the ground, place a grey concrete. Place one to the left. Extend up by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then left by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then, we want to extend this block backwards by 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We then want to extend across the back of the build by 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. We then want to extend towards the front of the build by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At which point we can connect this 9th block down to the ground like this. I then want you to place a spruce plank inside of this block. Extend that block outwards, and then extend the spruce plank upwards and join it to the front of the build. Extend the spruce plank across and also join it to the front of the build, and you'll notice that we have created a big squarish rectangle, I guess it's a rectangle looking shape like this. So that is perfect. The next thing we are going to do is we will add some details, and I think that we'll actually do it in reverse order because why not? So on this side of the build, we'll focus on the right side. We want to have a couple of rows of spruce planks, and I do mean a couple, 1, 2, and 1, 2, extending inwards on each side. We then want to have 3 layers of glass, 1, 2, 3, and then from the other side, 1, 2, 3. Spruce planks in the middle. The glass rows want to be 3 rows high in total, so the spruce we want to also extend up by 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to extend the spruce left and right, and we will join the spruce down to the other spruce. Place glass extending up on top of the 2 previous layers of glass, and I want to place black concrete above the windows as well, just spanning left to right. The rest of this can simply just be filled in using spruce planks like this. And whilst we are here, we will also make the sign, well, not really the sign, but where the sign is going to be placed upon. So let's grab the red concrete, and we basically want to leave a gap of 1 between the black concrete row and extending up. And starting on the left, also leaving a gap of 1 from the edge, so a little bit tricky. We want to place 3 red concrete, 1, 2, 3, gap, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 red concrete. extend up like this, and once this has been placed, I mean, it should be easy enough to see exactly what we've done. Perfect. So it's kind of just like one block away from everything. That's kind of the point of that particular part of the build. Okay, moving slightly on, we want to take the corner of the build and extend it down using the grey concrete, like this. We want to add another row of grey concrete on inside the right side, and then stick a red concrete inside of the grey concrete, extend the red concrete outwards by just simply one row, extend left, 1, 2, 3, and then up by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, backwards a couple of rows, 1, 2, and then we can extend the top across, join down, and I'm just adding a row inside there because I know that there is one. I'm going to add a little bit of glass to this, just a couple of rows of glass pane just on the left side here at the bottom, and then we're going to fill the top of this in with red. And as this is kind of like the kitchen / serving area, this is just going to be filled in with grey concrete. There's not going to be too many windows and such. And perfect, that is that particular part of the build complete. Now, coming on to the back of the build. It would be easiest if we first of all extend the back right hand corner down to the ground using grey concrete. We then want to have 2 rows of grey extending inwards on the left here, so 1, 2. And then we want to have a window. This is 3 rows wide, it's made out of glass, 1, 2, 3. We're then going to have a row of 5 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another window, which is also 1, 2, 3, and then the rest of the row will be grey concrete. So we're going to fill the walls in using grey concrete, just extending upwards. The windows are going to be 3 rows high in total, so we already have 1, that would be 2 and 3, 2 and 3, and then we'll just fill in between these windows and then on top of them using grey concrete. It won't take very long at all. Another point for later is where we have the windows on the lower half of the build, it's not a bad idea to have windows for the upper half of the build. So the only place that we can have a long strip of window is here, because the rest of the build kind of gets in the way of like having a big long window. But I just want to have a really long, essentially skylight, aka a ceiling window if you like. And that is in the same position as the window on the back. But I just wanted to place that there and then. The left side. The left side bolsters? Boulders? What word was I about to say? I think I was going to say the left side boasts or boulders, which doesn't make any sense. A lot more windows. So starting from the back of the build, guys, I'm stupid. Starting from the back of the build, we want to have a window. These windows are all 3 rows wide. So 1, 2, 3 with the glass. Then 2 grey concrete. 1, 2, 3 glass. 3 grey concrete. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 glass. 1, 2, 3. 2 grey concrete. 1, 2. 3 glass. 1, 2, 3. And then just 2 grey concretes. And once again, the grey concrete will be extended upwards from the grey concrete all the way up to the top. And the windows we will make 3 rows high in total. I think we'll do this individually instead of sweeping across. And then we'll just place grey concrete above them. If you want to make the windows a bit fancier, then you can, but we're kind of going for modern minimalism. So we're just going to fill these in, just like this. Now, for the front of the build, this is where we have a little bit more detail. So, first of all, just starting on the left, we will place a grey concrete, 4 glass, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the rest of this area will be grey concrete. We will extend the grey concretes upwards, as we have done for every previous part of the build. We'll add a couple of rows of glass on top of where the window is, and then just fill the remainder in using grey concrete. Cool, which leaves this part. So for this next part, we are going to once again start on the left. Everything seems to stem from here, and we are going to add an intricate set of windows. We're going to place 2 glass on the floor, black concrete, 2 glass, black concrete, 2 glass, black concrete, extend back, place red concrete to the right, extend up by 2, 1, 2, extend all the way over to the right, and then join down. So the black concrete, we are going to extend it up until it is one row higher than the red concrete that we have. We're going to extend the black concrete across so that it kind of just like sits and frames the entrance like this. We will make the windows as well, so let's place the glass here. Then we are going to extend the top of the black concrete forwards, just so that it kind of creates a level of depth. And then the upper half of the area we are going to fill in using birch planks, and this is going to be set basically on top of the original frame of the windows, but behind the top of the road that we've just added. So it'll just end up looking a little something like this. Gonna grab the red concrete, and basically directly in the middle of this birch plank area, we take the two middle rows, leave a gap of 1, start off by placing a row of 1, 2, 3 red concrete, add another row on top, gap of 1, and then place a row of 7 red concrete. I'm not counting it out because I know that it's perfectly spaced, 1 row away from everything. And with that done, ladies and gentlemen, the next bit is going to be a little bit longer, but this is actually the perfect time to do it. We are going to dig out the entire inside of our Tim Hortons and replace it with the flooring material of choice. That's going to be spruce planks. So I'm going to do exactly that. Now, with the interior floor filled in, it's a good opportunity for us to focus on the roof. The roof is very simple. We simply want to add an entire layer of grey concrete throughout the entire top of our Tim Hortons. This is even inside of the spruce plank area. And that is basically just connecting the top of the grey concrete area together, so it's quite easy to see where to put it. It's at the same level that we placed the glass earlier. And then we just have to connect the edge of the spruce plank area down to meet the new grey concrete roof and fill the top of the spruce plank area in using birch planks. This is going to be 1 row below the top. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is looking pretty good. We have the inside floor complete and we have the roof complete. The next thing that we are going to work on is mainly the outside. I think that we are going to get it completely done. So, we want to have 3 rows of smooth stone placed directly from the entrance, spreading horizontally across the restaurant. So 1, 2, 3 like this, and we are going to dig out all of this grass, and this is basically just going to go all the way over to the left-hand side, which we could also add just a row, or maybe even 2, of smooth stone, just towards the back area like this, and that means that we can actually like walk around. So we'll just extend it towards the back, we won't extend it around the back, and we can fill this in using smooth stone. It's only a few rows, so we'll just do it together instead of time-lapsing it, but we'll add a couple of rows here, and then that leaves enough room for a car to drive, another path, and then a wall. So that's kind of what the goal is, and then that way we can kind of place this in a multitude of ways. It would connect nicely into a suburbs area, and also in a city as well, with all the connecting paths, I think. But now that we have added the smooth stone path, we are going to further extend that. So from the entrance here all the way over to the right, we want to have a smooth stone path that just leads all the way to the outer boundary. So just like this. going to fill all of this in using smooth stone. And this is going to be the main pathway to the actual entrance of our Tim Hortons. The next thing that we have to do is just grab some podzol and azaleas, and we are going to have a couple of rows of podzol kind of just snuck in front of the rows of smooth stone, and it's just going to sit nicely in this shape that we've created using the two paths. So literally, just when I say a couple of rows of podzol, I do mean that literally. And we'll just place it here. Slight arrow with the podzol. We want to make these two end rows here smooth stone because we want to have a path that extends forwards and backwards from the actual edge of the boundary here. Hence why I think that this is a good build to put in a city or a suburbs, because it is so interconnected with pathways. And this helps us to carve out the car park area, which if we grab yellow carpet and we start from the grass line here, we place 1, 2, 3 yellow carpet, gap of 1, 1, 2, 3, gap of 1, so on and so forth until we will reach a natural end here on the right. We want to place white concrete between all of the yellow carpet areas. We want to grab oak leaves and place a row of oak leaves here on the right. This kind of separates the main path from the car park. The azaleas that we have, we want to place them on the back row of podzol, leaving a gap of 2 on the back right hand side. Azalea, 2, azalea, so on and so forth. We just want to leave gaps of 2, extending it all the way over to the left, and they will kind of just be placed perfectly. Or perfectly in the sense that they are spaced nicely away from each other. I suppose that they don't really look too lined up with the car parking spaces, but that's okay. We are going to dig out the area inside all of this and replace it using grey concrete. Well, a mixture of grey concrete actually and white concrete, because we of course need to have the separation between these spaces. That's why we have the rows of white concrete to begin with, so we can get all of that in place. And we will be coming to a point very soon where we won't have too much to... So I'm just going to extend out the white concrete parts, and then I'll just place the grey concrete in between. I just find it a bit easier to do it this way, instead of like doing it dynamically, like, you know, like just extending across and having to swap materials. I just find it a bit more relaxing doing it this way. But at this point in time, we just have a lot of digging to do, and we have some wall building to do. The level of detail isn't exactly too high here, so I think now that we have made these car parking spaces, and that's looking pretty good if you ask me. So the next thing that I want to make is one of those, like, if your car is too high, this machine, this contraption thing is going to take the top of your car off thing. We're going to make one of those. So this is made leaving a gap of 1 diagonally from the front left-hand corner of your Tim Hortons. It is made here in this position. Black concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4 red concretes on top of each other. We take the polished black stone slab, and from the block just below the top, we place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 black stone slab extending out, and that is just to stop big vehicles coming through here, as they are not welcome. I don't know why. I guess it stops somebody driving the Titanic through the drive-thru. But we are now going to work on the sign. So that is made using the loom, red banners, white dye, and red dye. So let's throw the loom down on the ground. We'll crack it open. We'll place our first banner in there with some white dye. And we are going to start off with a horizontal pattern across the top and a vertical row of white through the middle. Next is going to be I, so this is a vertical row of white straight up the middle. Next will be M, so this is going to be a triangle of white at the top. Throw the white out, put the red in. We want to add the red chief indented pattern, whatever that means. We'll throw that out, put the white dye in. It just kind of reminds me of like werewolf teeth. We want to place white, a vertical row of white on the left and right to give us M. The next letter is going to be H, so that's a vertical row of white on the left, right, horizontal through the middle. Next will be O. This is vertical on the left, right, horizontal on the top, bottom. Next will be R. Vertical row of white on the left, horizontal on top, diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner. We are running out of room, so we don't need the red dye anymore, nor do we need the loom. So we'll make room by getting rid of the loom. The N is made using a vertical row of white on the left and right sides, diagonal top left corner to bottom right corner. And the final letter, which is S, horizontal row of white on the top, the bottom, and then a diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner. So this word that we have created is, this is a real mess, but we place in these signs, and we do this on both sides, T-I-M-H-O-R-T, hang on, O-N-S. Perfect. So we then want to come to the right side, T-I-M-H-O-R-T-O-N-S. Perfect. So we have Tim Hortons written there, and that looks pretty good if you ask me. So the next part of this, ladies and gentlemen, is actually really, really simple. It just requires a little bit of labor. So we are going to time-lapse this next part because it is incredibly easy and very, very simple to see what you actually have to do without too much explanation and counting. So what do we have to do on the outside of our Tim Hortons? So step one, we have to add a wall around the perimeter of our build. This is going to be on the left side, the back side, and the right side. It's going to be made using a 2-high row of terracotta, just on the left, back, right side. After that, we are going to add a path of smooth stone connecting the front and the back of the build together. So this is a throughway that will join streets and pavements together. It's on the left side of the build, it sits along the inside of the wall, it's 2 rows thick, leads straight through. Next, we are going to add the actual drive-through, the road part. So this is a 3-row wide bit of grey concrete that basically just sits in between all of the pathway, and it just allows us to actually use the drive-through. However, on the back of the build, the grey concrete wants to sit in between a row of grass block. It's on the basically, the grass is against the wall and against the restaurant, so we want to thread the grey concrete in between. And we then want to decorate the surrounding area. The entire back wall we are going to place rose bushes against, and the back of the restaurant we are going to place some leaves dispersed in between the restaurant as well, so along the back and then pretty much just the right side. And that's it, that's all we have to do for the back. It's just a little bit labor intensive, and it's very, very simple to see what you've got to do. But once that has been complete, it's now time for us to head inside, and I have grabbed some materials that hopefully will help us finish off the build. Some of these we will already have had out, but I had to plunder the chest a little bit, so if you want to make your inventory look like mine, feel free. So, now that we're inside, the first thing that we're going to do is kind of make the entrance area, and it's quite nice. So we're going to grab black stained glass, and we're going to come to this row of black concrete here. So we're going to place a row of 1, 2 glass extending inwards from that block, red concrete, leave a gap of 1, 2, 3 red concrete, place a glass, red concrete. And then I think it's actually okay just to place a row of glass extending backwards, and we can always alter this if need be. So the idea of this glass is to actually extend all the way up to the ceiling, as we want to do with the red concrete as well. After extending the row of red concrete in the corner up to the ceiling, we want to add a couple of rows of red concrete on to the remaining rows of red concrete. And then the rest of the area is pretty much filled in using glass block. So we just want to leave ourselves enough room that we are able to walk in and out of our Tim Hortons. We're also going to decorate the inside of this a little bit as well. So we are going to add, for the floor, we're just going to add a patch of grey glazed terracotta, pretty much just directly in the middle, like this. So it doesn't work out perfectly just because of the shape of the doorway, but just kind of like in the middle section, and it does kind of like span this entrance here, which is kind of cool. Gonna add a couple of terracottas with some oak leaves on top just as nice little decoration. We're going to add some lanterns above where the entrance area is here on both sides, so we'll kind of have lanterns like this. Kind of creates a sort of mirrored effect as well, like you can't tell if the lanterns are real or if they're being reflected in the glass. I think it's kind of cool. Well, I guess you can, but you guys get what I'm talking about. So now that we've made this entrance area here, I think that we might have to add a little bit of grey concrete. So just in this corner, we're going to kind of like just fill this in using grey concrete. And I did consider as well adding more grey concrete inside of here. Like, I did consider adding some, like, just across the top, just to kind of, like, connect it. Well, that's annoying. I did consider, like, adding a layer of grey concrete along the inside of the top here. And maybe even just here as well. And maybe even just across the top here too. Just to... I really wish I'd stop destroying the stuff behind. So here and here. And it kind of just creates an interesting shape. But then it's like, oh, what do you do? Do you destroy this glass here and then connect it down? And I mean, I guess you could. And then it's kind of a bit more even with the area on the side. But I don't know, it's up to you whether you like that a little bit more. I think it does make it look a little bit more interesting and a little bit more refined. And it's also something that we've got to do anyway, so we've got to add some extra grey concrete here along the inside of the front of the restaurant. And we're actually going to sort of like bolster this area using grey concrete as well. So like just along the inside, if this makes sense. So you can see now it's a bit more of a smooth area instead of like being a little bit more jagged. It just looks a little bit better, I think. So in doing that, we just want to focus on the kitchen area a little bit. So we start from the row of red concrete that goes from the floor to the ceiling, and we want to place a grey concrete here, and then 2 upside down quartz stairs, grey concrete, 3 red concrete, 1, 2, 3, gap of 1, and then grey concrete, and then 2 upside down stairs. Or we do have some, oh, we don't have light grey concrete on us, but that would have also been an option. I'm going to extend the grey concrete up and then back by, I think, just 1 row, and then like curve it around like this. I might even use glass in the back of this. And I want to do a similar thing here as well. So like I want to curve around the grey concrete, raise it up and curve it around. And then I think glass in the back actually looks quite good. We're going to add a smooth quartz slab to the top of these 2 things. And these are basic, one's a heater and one's a cooler. So that's basically the idea of this. Going to stick a lantern just here on the desk, or I don't know what to call it, the counter would also work. So a lantern here, we're going to have a polished blackstone stairs, that is a till, and a glow item frame, so that could be like a card reader or something similar. I'm going to add some sea lanterns, so I think I'll add them underneath the fridge and the kind of like heater area here. So basically, as I mentioned, these are just... So this would be a heater, just so you can grab, you know, something preheated. We can have a couple of item frames, or maybe 1, and you can put food in there. And the same here, but for drinks, so kind of like a cooler. So a couple of item frames, and then you can stick like a potion, or maybe even just like 1. So make it look as though that stuff has actually been taken. And we're going to add some grey glazed terracotta. We want to have a row of 2. So this is basically just to illustrate that this is where the line is, or where the serving area would be. So just a couple of rows of grey terracotta, and we also want to just have extend out 2 rows just here on the end. Grab red concrete, and we could also do with the glass pane. So here, the black glass pane specifically. So a row of red concrete to kind of help illustrate that this is separate, and then glass to kind of keep the queuing area a little bit separate as well. We could even extend it to the entrance area, so like you walk straight out from the entrance, but I think that that might be a little bit too much. Something that we could have is, we could do this though. This might look good. I think that's kind of okay, and then we can have a little bit of glass pane there. And then I actually quite like that. I think that looks kind of good. It like sort of like captures what this area is supposed to be a little bit. So now we're going to come towards inside of the back area here, the actual inside of the workspace. And along the back, we actually do have to build a little bit. So here in the corner, we're going to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red concrete, and then an upside down smooth quartz stair. Red concrete on the end, connect back. And we're going to, the red concrete wants to get extended up by 2 rows, and along the top of this we should actually grab black concrete, and we want to have black concrete sat horizontally just with like a row of 3 underneath. So like we take the red concrete, add a row of 2, add a horizontal row of black just above. And then the rest of the area above we can just fill in using red concrete like this. And it just makes it look a bit more purposeful. I really like this. We're going to have just a couple of smooth quartz stairs just placed against this wall here. You could even fill this wall in a little bit with red just to make it... it just looks a little bit better, I think, actually. And then we have the upside down stairs. And then here on the right side, we want to have... we want to extend up the red concrete here, so we want to have the stair, red concrete, and then a vertical row. And there's just a bunch of stuff to have here. So we need the white stained glass, we need the carpet. My inventory is a little bit full at the moment. We need the item frame, we need sunflowers, we will need the cake as well, we need the lanterns, we also need flower parts, we need the rails back out again, and then we need like tripwire hooks, and we'll need the leather. But over here in the corner, we're going to place a white stained glass, white carpet on top. On the counter, we're going to have an item frame with the sunflower that looks like a donut, cake next to it, and then we'll have a lantern just hanging above the cake. Left of this in this area here, it's kind of like a coffee machine, so a rail on top of the upside down stair, pot next to it, tripwire hook, and a lever placed in such a way that it looks like a functioning machine. We could even also grab stone buttons as well, just to add buttons to this. I think that would look pretty good. Over here on the upside down stairs, we're going to have kind of just like storage a little bit, so chests and some brown sugar boxes, and that way it kind of just looks like it's just like bags of some sort, some storage. If you wanted to go a little bit crazy, you could add like a freezer and a fridge and stuff, but I think that that's actually perfectly adequate, especially because we're now going to grab black concrete and paintings and oak sides, and we're going to add just 2 big screens, and these are going to be added from the ceiling. These are going to hang down from the ceiling. They're going to be set 1 row backwards from the red concrete that we have here. It's black concrete we want to place, and we want to place 1, 2, 3 black concrete extending across to the left, gap of 1, 1, 2, 3 black concrete. Extend these down like this. And then we want to have paintings, so it would be best if we used a solid block. So I want to just use paintings, and like single paintings, and maybe even just the double wides, just to illustrate that they're just things on the menu, and then signs to actually say what you want to have. So like coffee, donuts, you know, whatever it is that you want to have. You could even extend the signs. It actually fits perfectly another sign here, but I kind of like the I like the fact that it's not symmetrical. So that's the most complicated part of the inside of the build done, by the way. That's probably made it seem like the rest of this is actually really hard to make. It's not. It's quite simple. So you may have seen that I have switched around my hotbar a little bit. So in grabbing all of this, we are going to start off by coming all the way over to the left side of our Tim Hortons. We have a row of 5 grey concrete here. We're going to take the middle and place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete extending out, and then extend the end block forwards and backwards by 2 rows. This allows us to make 2 booths, and the way that we do this is place quartz stairs on the inside like this, so on the inside of the wall and the inside of the red concrete that we've just placed, spruce fence in between these stairs, white carpet on top of the spruce fence, and then we're going to place a lantern and a couple of flower pots, and we're going to decorate them. And then we're going to place black stained glass pane extending from the red concrete at the base all the way up to the ceiling. And that's basically just one booth, and in my opinion, it just looks really cool. And we actually want the exact same thing on this opposite wall, so it's literally opposite, and it's almost a mirror image. So 1, 2, 3, 4 red concrete, extend them out to both rows, and then we can make 2 little booths. And I think that these look really, really nice. Like they're a really nice, clean, modern design. And I am just going to use the same decoration as well. But you can swap saplings. You can choose to use different flowers and stuff. But saplings I just really like as pot fillers. So there we go. We've got two booths, and that looks really cool. So we also want to have another booth, and it's actually going to be directly in the middle of the 2 booths that we've made. So we leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we need a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red concrete. And then this is on both ends, by the way. So a row of 5, then you leave a gap of 3, and then a row of 5. And you can see that this sits directly in the middle of both of the booths. It faces the opposite way, and we want to connect the red concrete together in the middle, front to back like this. And then that allows us to create two little booths again. So exact same thing, couple of fence in between the stairs, white carpet, and then the space in the middle is where we would place the flower pots and the saplings, and we would all use the glass again. So I like this because we could have made a booth that looked very, very similar to the 2 that we've got already, but we've kind of like done that and we've spun it around, so it's a little bit more interesting to look at, in my opinion. So the glass wants to be on both sides as well because we have the opportunity to, and it just looks really chilled out, in my opinion. I think that looks really, really nice. So what are we going to do next? We want to grab red concrete, and we want to create a series of seats along the back of the build. So starting from this front window here, we want to, right next to it, place a 2-row wide, ceiling high row of red concrete. We want to do the same in the middle of the 2 windows, well, in the middle, like it's in the middle of the row 3. And then all the way on the end here, we also want to have 2 rows of red concrete. So the way that looks is this. So you can see it's framed perfectly. 3 rows of red concrete right in the middle. It spaces nicely with all of the windows. And in doing that, these 2 end rows here, we can have seats, and then we can have a table, and we can have the same thing over here as well. So seats, fence, table, perfect. Which leaves us the 2 big areas in the middle, and we're just going to have kind of like, these are just single tables, so these aren't meant to be connected together, but they kind of like face each other. So we just place smooth quartz stairs on the ends, or along the inside of the red concrete. We kind of face them together, we place spruce fence in front of them, we top the tables using white carpet, easy peasy. The only thing left to do, really, in my opinion, is to hang a light down into the center of the tables using 2 chains and a lantern. And I think that just kind of like, if you look at the restaurant like this, it's just absolutely perfect. Like, it's just such a nice balance. I love the interior, and I'd like the whole interior as well. Actually, I really, really like it. And there's actually nothing left to make, ladies and gentlemen. We have completely completed the build. Well done. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and click that little bell next to the subscription button. That will ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you do like the look of the world that I have been building in, I don't know how much of it you have managed to see, Stream City is available to download, Java Edition only, for all of my channel members. If you are a channel member and you're unaware of this, or if you would like to become one for this perk, channel members are provided a brand new fresh download link for Stream City every single time it is updated. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!